It's Ohio State week, and you know what that means. We got to talk to Uwe Von Schamann. I'm Berry Tramel, along with OU kicking legend Uwe Von Schamann. And Uwe, 39 years ago, you kicked the most famous kick in Oklahoma history. If you ask 2 million Oklahomans, tell me what you remember about Ohio State, they will come up with one response: Uwe Von Schamann. What a 41-yard field goal to beat the Buckeyes in 1977, 29-28. Looking back, what has that kick meant to your life?
Well, I'm still here. You know, they asked me right before I made the kick. I was down on my knees, kind of, praying, saying, "Please, Lord, let me make this field goal, because I don't want to go back to Germany." So, I'm still here. You know, the kicks meant so much to not just to fans. People always ask me, "Do you get tired of talking about it?" And I go, "No, I don't, because I share it with the fans." And so they always tell me great stories, where they were and what they did. So that's what, it's just, it's a great, some great memories. Of course, it was a great team, great matchup, and so lots of great memories.
Looking back, people always remember you conducting the Ohio State band. How confident were you in those seconds and those minutes? There was a timeout. Right. The time leading up to you're on the field to when you kicked it.
I was looking back. I was really confident because I did a couple things that for one thing, a kicker should never do, and that is lead the chant of the opposing fans when they yell, "Block that kick." You never want to just lead the chant, because you look ridiculous if you don't make it. Another thing that I don't remember that my holder told me, Bud Hebert, we roomed together the night before, and he woke up that morning. He said, "I had a dream that you were going to win the game by a field goal," and he told me later on. He said, I went up to him right before I went out on the field and said, "I'm going to make your dream come true." So, so it kind of indicates that I felt really confident.
There's so many emotions when you see the clips of that great game, and the one thing we saw looking back. Your coach, Barry Switzer, he's on his knees.
That's right.
Most coaches a little bit more deportment these days. They're not going to let people know how emotional and how keyed up they are. Switzer, he wore his emotions on his sleeve. He was down on his hands and knees waiting for you to make that kick. What do you remember about Barry Switzer in those moments in Columbus?
I just remember during the timeout, when Woody Hayes called a timeout, I just remember looking over the sideline, and he was on his knees, and I think he might have even been smoking a cigarette. and Coach Hoshaver was standing up, and he was just jumping up and down, and everybody was just ready for the kick. And so that's kind of what I remember.
You said a few minutes ago, you're still here. Mm-hmm. You're at the Children's Center in Bethany, one of the great things we have in our state, in our metropolitan area, the work they do out in Bethany for children. Tell us about your work and what you're doing now.
Well, I'm primarily go out and talk to people about our center. Even though we've been there for over 100 years, people still really don't know what we do. So I'm there for awareness. I travel around the state, and of course we just finished a big campaign, $22 million campaign, to add on to the hospital, which is really needed because we need the space, because there's always a waiting list, unfortunately. And so just awareness, and also help raise money, community relations, that type of work.
For many years, you've worked at organizations that really benefit children.
Right.
Why is that near and dear to your heart?
I think when I retired and I came back to Norman, I worked for OU for a little while, finished my degree, and there was a children's center in Norman, and I toured it. And when I met those kids and what they go through on a daily basis and how hard they work to reach certain plateaus, just really grabbed me. Just really, I wanted to be part of it. And so I've been doing this for 13, 14 years.
How people that want to get involved with the Children's Center in Bethany, how can they do so?
Well, they can get on our website, and the Children's Center website there in Bethany. We have many areas that we can use help. We have a large volunteer program that if they want to volunteer, or if they wanted to donate to different programs, we have a wish list. And of course, Christmas coming up, there'll be a lot of needs. So they can just get on our website and get involved that way.
You mentioned, you travel around the state.
Yeah.
People want to hear from Uwe Von Schamann because primarily of that kick. You're the greatest kicker in OU history and would have been without that kick in Columbus. That kick sort of puts you into legend status. But how rewarding is it that kick has opened so many doors in the ensuing years for causes like the Children's Center?
Absolutely. It certainly helps when you go into a community and you talk to a civic club. They remember you, all the Sooner fans, and even some of my OSU fans, they remember that too. Because I believe they were actually listening to the game when they went to one of their games and cheered for us, so to speak. And so it's a tremendous door opener for me. And then I can share my story, what I've been doing, because people want to know what I've been up to since then.
A lot of Ohio State fans are going to be in town this week. I assume you've heard from some Buckeyes over the years.
Yeah.
How do the Buckeyes receive you?
Well, they call me Von Satan in Ohio. So that kind of tells you what they think. But no, I've been through Ohio many times, and actually the punter for Ohio State, and he also kicked off, we ended up being roommates with the Dolphins. We had to, when Ohio State came in, early 80s, came to Norman, actually beat us. I lost that bet with him. Tom Orrs is his name. And so I keep in touch with him, and actually went up there, saw him a couple times just to visit, and I wanted to meet Woody Hayes, but he wasn't in that day, and that was probably a good thing.
Probably was. And next year, 40-year anniversary of the kick, Sooners go to Columbus.
Yeah.
You hope to make that trip?
Yes. Well, Bob Stoops told me that he would take me with him on the plane, so I'm going to have to make sure he remembers that next year at the luncheon. So looking forward to that. Recently drove through Columbus and I ate at one of my favorite places called Schmidt's, a good German restaurant. And this guy came over and he asked for an autograph, and I go, how in the world would you remember me after all these years? And he goes, my wife and I just moved here from Oklahoma. She recognized me.
Well, there you go. Household name in Oklahoma and in Ohio. Well, Uwe, thanks for sharing with us, and the greatest kicker in Oklahoma history, but also produced one of the magic moments. And the great thing about it is it's not just a sports moment, but you're able to use that glorious afternoon in Columbus for a lot of good in the intervening years. So thanks for your work at the Children's Center. Stay tuned for further OU football coverage here on News OK and every day in the Oklahoman.